Ancient gods had moongazer serpents within their bodies. And ancient devils possessed a similar existence. The human-shaped creature was clearly that being. It had not existed before the ancient gods died. But it was somehow released during the struggle between ancient devil Ta Jia and the celestial emperor. After becoming separated, it entered the ancient god's skull buried deep beneath the celestial burial pool. Master Void stood behind Ta Jia in a strange state. His eyes filled with madness and a rune on his forehead radiating powerful devilish energy. Although the rune was clearly a seal, Wang Lin could see that Master Void's life force was rapidly dissipating and that he was close to death. Ling Tianao looked complicated and deliberately avoided Wang Lin's gaze, while the All-Seer remained calm and clear-eyed, as if he had already seen through everything, even smiling when Wang Lin looked at him. Seeing the All-Seer and the others appear, Wang Lin realized that the blood on the restrictions only affected Ta Jia and was useless against everyone else. Although they were on the first floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave and could leave relatively easily, Wang Lin felt increasingly that something was wrong. His ominous feeling became even stronger when he saw the All-Seer behind Ta Jia. Looking back, he realized that everything that had happened seemed to have been forced by the ancient devil. As if Ta Jia had deliberately arranged the entire situation. Wang Lin immediately retreated, and Situ Nan, Wang Wei, and Hu Wan followed him while the surrounding cultivators also rushed toward the exit. The All-Seer then summoned his gray-robed clone, which attacked the restrictions with endless slaughter energy. However, Wang Wei and Hu Wan had also established restrictions. And Hu Wan's were much stronger than Wang Lin's, preventing the gray-robed All-Seer from breaking through immediately. Wang Wei attacked the ceiling with a giant formed from water, while Hu Wan remained behind to reinforce the restrictions. Wang Lin joined Wang Wei in attacking the cave ceiling, and the surrounding cultivators followed, causing thunderous explosions throughout the first floor. Outside the demon spirit land, 6 Nirvana Shatterer cultivators continued forming seals and attacking the Vermilion bird's true spirit. The Vermilion bird released a vast sea of flames that did not harm members of the Vermilion bird divine sect but destroyed cultivators and dust particles beyond the reach of divine sense. Almost all the dust was burned away, leaving only one particle containing the demon spirit land. The Vermilion bird repeatedly crashed into the seal on this particle, while the 6 cultivators also attacked it. The seal personally left by Qing Lin before the collapse of the celestial realm began to loosen. And the external attacks caused the demon spirit land and even the celestial emperor cave to tremble violently. Eventually, the barrier between the celestial emperor cave and the demon spirit land collapsed. At that moment, the gray-robed All-Seer broke through Hu Wan's restrictions. Wang Wei pulled the pale Hu Wan away, and they escaped through the broken barrier. Ancient devil Ta Jia followed them out and inhaled deeply, releasing endless devilish energy that transformed into roaring black dragons. The second of the 3 Chen brothers was caught and devoured by Ta Jia before Wang Lin could save him. One of the beautiful woman's female disciples was also caught, while Qian Qin was nearly seized. The girl in pink, surrounded by a snowstorm, arrived in time and pulled Qian Qin toward the exit. A black dragon collided with her snowstorm, causing her to cough blood, and the snowflake treasure protecting her finally cracked and shattered. Nevertheless, she successfully dragged Qian Qin outside. Big Head and the others also escaped with the assistance of Situ Nan. Master Hollow Wind, and the silver-robed woman Wang Lin had taken from his storage bag. However, Ta Jia immediately reached out and squeezed with his right hand, unleashing terrifying pressure upon everyone who had escaped into the demon spirit land. Qian Qin, whose cultivation was the weakest, coughed blood and collapsed. The girl in pink also collapsed. But a treasure from the brilliant void realm within her origin soul released light that surrounded both her and Qian Qin's origin souls. Both origin souls were severely injured and began to fuse under the treasure's protection. The 3rd Chen brother's body also collapsed. But Master Yi Chen rescued his origin soul and escaped. Lei Ji's powerful body allowed him to survive. Although half of it collapsed, Big Head saved the remaining half. Master Hollow Wind and Situ Nan, both at the Nirvana cleanser stage, suffered serious injuries but remained physically intact. However, Situ Nan's expression changed strangely because the poison within his body had been activated by his injuries. Ta Jia's attack could have annihilated everyone, but Wang Wei and Hu Wan intervened because they knew that many of those present were close to Wang Lin and wanted to repay him. Wang Lin also helped resist the attack. sharing the force with Wang Wei and Hu Wan. He coughed blood and became extremely weak as his severely injured origin soul rapidly dissipated. Even the ancient god leather armor could not protect him from the repeated injuries inflicted by an ancient devil possessing Qing Lin's body. Wang Lin immediately crushed and swallowed the pill Wang Wei had given him. The miraculous pill stopped his origin soul from dissipating and rapidly healed it. Wang Wei and Hu Wan were also badly injured. But despite their bitter smiles, their eyes remained determined. Wang Wei told Wang Lin that he and Hu Wan would use their lives to stall the ancient devil and asked him to abandon the idea of resurrecting their teacher, instead saving Qing Shuang for them if he ever had the chance. Wang Wei then opened a spatial crack and threw Zhou Yi out. He reflected that he and Hu Wan had lived for an extremely long time and entered the cave many times, yet had never been able to approach this place until now. As Ta Jia slowly stepped through the barrier, he looked toward the sky with excitement and laughed madly. He revealed that Qing Lin had deliberately made his body incapable of breaking the cave's restrictions so that Ta Jia could not escape. But Ta Jia had used an illusion to manipulate the people who came to save Qing Lin into breaking all the restrictions for him. Wang Lin finally understood the source of his ominous feeling. Ta Jia raised his hand and declared that he would now reveal his true power. The earth trembled, the sky distorted, and an illusion of a palace surrounded by a sea of purple flowers appeared overhead. A cold, beautiful voice then echoed across the world, declaring that although Ta Jia had broken one of Qing Lin's husband's plans, by stepping outside he had entered the second rule that had been prepared for him. A woman in white slowly emerged from the illusionary palace. Wang Lin immediately recognized her as the flower imperial concubine. At the same time, the seal protecting the dust particle containing the demon spirit land had weakened under the Vermilion bird's continuous attacks and was on the verge of breaking. A law resembling the change between day and night then illuminated the dust particle. Arriving at the moment of sunrise, the illusion of the palace above the demon spirit land gradually became solid, as if it had been teleported from Qing Lin's cave. When the flower imperial concubine stepped out, the palace and the thousands of surrounding purple flowers shrank into a palm-sized hairpin. She made a hand seal, causing the hairpin to disappear and merge into her body. She then looked at ancient devil Ta Jia with melancholy and sadness. Although they were finally meeting again after countless years, Ta Jia was no longer the same soul she had known before, making their reunion like seeing the moon reflected in water or a flower reflected in a mirror. Ta Jia's eyes became red with greed and bloodlust. He praised her beauty and mentioned that she was from the Wind Celestial Realm and the younger sister of Wind Celestial Emperor Lan Yun. He then mocked Qing Lin's death and proposed that she become his flower concubine in cultivation furnace. Although Ta Jia acted arrogantly, he remained cautious because of his deep fear of Qing Lin. He believed Qing Lin, the most powerful celestial emperor, had already prepared many plans for his possible failure, and the flower imperial concubine's appearance was clearly one of them. As Ta Jia attacked, the demon spirit land trembled, and black fog spread across the sky before condensing into a giant arm that reached toward the flower imperial concubine. At the same time, the strange human-shaped creature beside Ta Jia locked onto Wang Lin and charged toward him at terrifying speed, producing sonic booms before it even reached him. Master Void was in an extremely terrible state. His breathing was heavy and beast-like. Thick drool hung from his mouth. His eyes were swollen and bloodshot, and his distorted face made him look more like a mad beast than a human. His remaining memory was dominated by hatred and killing intent toward Wang Lin, so he also charged toward him. The All-Seer remained calm as though everything within the Celestial Emperor cave had been calculated, while Ling Tianao continued struggling with a dazed and complicated expression filled with guilt. The celestial cloud couple blocked both the human-shaped creature and Master Void, but they were already injured, and the strange creature made it difficult to determine a winner quickly. Master Void became increasingly insane whenever Wang Wei and Hu Wan tried to stop him, relentlessly charging toward Wang Lin regardless of the consequences. When Wang Wei approached, Master Void roared and the flesh throughout his body moved strangely, forcing Wang Wei to retreat. Master Void then coughed up a huge amount of black blood, which contained most of the blood in his body. The blood seemed to possess intelligence and formed a net that pursued Wang Wei. Wang Wei created an ice mountain with his technique to block it, but the black blood contained terrifying heat and immediately melted and blackened the ice mountain. Wang Wei explained that Master Void was suffering from the first of the 5 heavens blights. Body blight, which would cause his body to continuously deteriorate until his soul died. Because of their previous injuries, Wang Wei could not continue blocking effectively, while Hu Wan was constantly forced backward by the human-shaped creature. During the crisis, Wang Wei summoned numerous icebergs in front of Wang Lin before rushing to help Hu Wan. With no one blocking him, Master Void charged directly toward Wang Lin, drool and black blood leaking from his mouth, completely resembling an ugly beast. Wang Lin was shocked not simply because Master Void had attacked him, but because he finally witnessed the first heaven's blight. After reaching the second step, cultivators possessed almost limitless lifespans and could transform world origin energy into endless vitality. But the heavens did not allow beings to exist indefinitely like itself. Thus, Nirvana Shatterer cultivators had to face the 5 heavens blights, boundless calamities that would eventually destroy them. Master Void continued approaching Wang Lin and attempted to spit again, but little blood remained. Instead, rotten pieces of his internal organs came out. Meanwhile, the giant hand formed from Tajia's black fog approached the flower imperial concubine. She raised her jade-like hand, causing a small sphere filled with gas and countless flower illusions to appear at her fingertip. When the giant hand struck the sphere, it unexpectedly collapsed into endless black fog and was forced backward. Tajia's pupils shrank, and after a cold snort, he attacked her directly. He formed seals with both hands, causing the world to change color as the black fog covering the sky gathered into countless blobs. Tajia laughed and declared that she must be familiar with the technique before shouting, "Star burial." The black blobs transformed into spheres radiating brilliant starlight, illuminating the entire demon spirit land despite the night. The flower imperial concubine recognized it as the star burial technique from Qing Lin's sun, moon, and star spell, but stated that Tajia's power was insufficient to display its true strength. Tajia strengthened the technique, causing the spheres to become even brighter and transform from incorporeal into corporeal forms. Countless rays of light filled the sky before gathering and descending toward the flower imperial concubine as if attempting to bury her beneath the stars. She explained that when Qing Lin used star burial, he could extract the power of the entire star system and unleash a spell covering the whole star system, making no difference whether he fought 10,000 or 100,000 people. Against a single opponent, that person would have to withstand the power of the entire star system. She then formed a seal and exhaled a fragrant breath that transformed into 9 balls containing source origin energy. The 9 balls formed a formation around her, and when the formation appeared, the starlight gathered around her body, making her location the brightest point in the entire star system. Outside the demon spirit land, the Vermilion bird's true spirit and the Vermilion bird divine sect continued attacking the seal surrounding the demon spirit land. The seal finally began to collapse, and the entire sky of the demon spirit land collapsed inch by inch along with it, as though the sky itself were part of the seal. As it disappeared, it was replaced by the vast starry sky, and the Vermilion bird divine sect finally arrived. The All-Seer frowned for the first time, realizing that everything inside the Celestial Emperor cave had followed his calculations. Yet every step also contained plans left behind by Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. By entering the cave, the All-Seer had unknowingly become part of Qing Lin's plan. To him, this was an invaluable opportunity to compete with Qing Lin through a battle of predictions. Whether he succeeded or failed, his Dao heart would benefit greatly. Victory would strengthen his confidence, allow him to recover from his past injuries, and advance further, while failure would still let him comprehend everything contained in the plan he had calculated for countless years. He was willing to pay any price, even causing a catastrophe, because ancient devil Tajia and the Cultivation Alliance were merely tools in his plan to battle Qing Lin. However, Wang Lin's first Vermilion bird awakening had already been an unexpected variable, and his second awakening created countless more unpredictable changes. Realizing that the situation had exceeded his calculations, the All-Seer decided to personally act. He closed his eyes, and 7-colored light emerged from his body before gray light appeared as well, forming 8 colors. 8 different All-Seer avatars in different colored robes then walked out, including the gray-robed All-Seer. Although they looked identical, their auras were different, and they immediately scattered, with several moving toward Wang Lin and the celestial cloud couple and 3 heading toward the collapsed sky. Meanwhile, the flower imperial concubine emerged from the 9 balls surrounded by starlight. While ancient devil Ta Jia summoned his large black blade and slashed toward the collapsing sky instead of attacking her. The flower imperial concubine smiled because she realized that Qing Lin's prophecy had come true. The person who saved her would be named Wang, and when the celestial spirit heaven realm collapsed, she would have a chance to awaken. As Ta Jia's blade energy entered the sky, she disappeared and reappeared before it, then used the 9 balls to collide with the blade energy. The collision forced her backward, and Ta Jia immediately charged toward her with killing intent. At the same time, Wang Lin was placed under extreme pressure as Master Void and 3 All-Seer avatars attacked him. The glacier Wang Wei had created collapsed under Master Void's assault, while the gray-robed All-Seer rapidly approached with 2 other avatars following closely behind. Facing 4 powerful opponents, Wang Lin quickly retreated. At that moment, the sky suddenly collapsed, and the law of origin within it entered the demon spirit land. The shattered sky was like a broken mirror, with its fragments pushed downward by the impact of the flames, while the true spirit of the Vermilion bird released a heaven-shaking cry that echoed throughout the demon spirit land. Wang Lin had no time to look up, but while retreating, he suddenly sensed a familiar power of law around him. It was the law he had comprehended after sitting on the mountain peak on planet Water Spirit for several months, the power behind his first self-created spell. Sundered Night, the sundered night born from the sea. Despite being surrounded by Master Void and 3 All-Seer avatars, Wang Lin immediately stopped, his eyes filled with madness as he raised his arms. And the newly appeared law seemed to be drawn toward him. His mind entered a mysterious state in which everything disappeared except the original moment when he had comprehended the force that tore apart the darkness of night. The gray-robed All-Seer and the other avatars were shocked as they recognized something extraordinary within Wang Lin. Master Void, unaware of what was happening, continued charging toward Wang Lin with the sole intention of devouring him. However, when he came within hundreds of feet, Wang Lin suddenly vanished from his sight, and the entire world transformed into night. The flames falling from the shattered sky disappeared, as though Wang Lin was no longer inside the demon spirit land but had entered an independent, boundless space. The sky was completely dark, and the sound of waves filled the surroundings. The gray-robed All-Seer and the other avatars were also trapped within this endless night. And no matter how far their divine senses spread, they could not find Wang Lin. It was as if he had completely merged with the law of the world, leaving behind no trace. The surroundings were silent except for the realistic sound of waves. Ahead lay a vast, boundless sea whose waves slowly rose and fell while the sea wind carried its scent. Master Void roared furiously and attacked the sea repeatedly because he could not find Wang Lin, creating enormous waves. The gray-robed All-Seer stared ahead and experienced a sense of fear he had not felt for countless years. The more he understood what was happening, the more shocked he became. Then a red light appeared on the distant horizon. The gray-robed All-Seer immediately recognized it as the power of law. And disbelief and unprecedented fear appeared in his eyes because he could not believe Wang Lin possessed such power. He instinctively retreated, but no matter how far he moved, he remained above the sea. The red light grew brighter until a fiery red sun appeared on the horizon above the raging waves. At that moment, almost everyone saw an illusion in which their bodies disappeared and became part of the endless night sky. Even the crazed Master Void awakened from his confused state, only for unimaginable horror to fill his eyes. He recognized the terrifying power as the law of origin. Wang Lin had comprehended the law of the world and created sundered night when he was at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scryer. Now, his cultivation had reached the peak of Nirvana Scryer, only one step away from Nirvana Cleanser. If he cast sundered night at his current cultivation level during the rare moment when the law of origin revealed itself, even Wang Lin himself did not know how powerful the spell would become. The sound of waves continued to echo around the 4 people, carrying a strange rhythm that seemed to contain the laws of the world. The gray-robed All-Seer and his 2 other avatars felt their mouths dry and fear rapidly growing in their hearts. At the same time, Master Void completely awakened when he saw the bright red sun rising over the horizon. Although only a small portion of the sun had emerged, its dazzling light was like countless swords tearing apart the night. Because Master Void was within the night, he was like a part of it and would be destroyed along with it. This was the power of sundered night. When the sun finally rose, An unimaginable force erupted, displaying the power of the sliver of origin law. The dark night was forcibly torn apart, and the rising sun carried enough power to shake the heavens, reverse the world, collapse the night, and illuminate everything. It also contained Wang Lin's monstrous killing intent. His unwillingness after being hunted through the Celestial Emperor Cave and ultimately becoming a helper in the All-Seer and ancient devil Tajia's plan, as well as the anger he had suppressed throughout this time. Wang Lin's 2 Vermilion bird awakenings had produced terrifying heat, and through the origin law, sundered night seized the intense heat of the rising sun and magnified it to an unimaginable level. The golden sunlight and immense heat swept across the world, not merely tearing apart the darkness but intending to crush everything and burn it to ashes. Master Void, who was closest to Wang Lin, was the first to face it, already dying because of his failed first heaven's blight and with his origin soul dissipating. He had survived only because of the seal placed on him by ancient devil Tajia. Under the boundless sunlight, his legs collapsed into mist and immediately disappeared. His ancient devil mark also dissipated, causing him to scream as his body began to vanish. He tried to retreat, but even the night itself could not escape sundered night, so Master Void had no chance of surviving. The sunlight pursued him and pierced through his body until he disappeared with a miserable smile. Despair, regret, and an overwhelming desire to live. The powerful peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, who had once held a high position in the Alliance and was Master Zhang Zan's junior brother, ultimately died under the consequences of his own actions, the reincarnation cycle, and his first heaven's blight. His death occurred the instant the sun rose. Without stopping, the sunlight continued forward and swept toward the gray-robed All-Seer and his 2 avatars. The gray-robed All-Seer felt his entire body being torn apart, even his independent origin soul being wrapped in the destructive force. Facing an overwhelming life and death crisis, he suppressed his fear, roared, spread his arms, and released an enormous amount of origin energy that transformed into endless slaughter energy covering the sky. The slaughter energy attempted to suppress both the sound of the sea and the terrifying power of sundered night. The yellow-robed All-Seer and purple-robed All-Seer also unleashed their own spells. The yellow-robed All-Seer, who possessed the law of heavenly fate, transformed his body into a storm and summoned countless yellow ripples before unleashing the heavenly fate finger toward the rising sun. Intending to destroy it, the purple-robed All-Seer formed a seal, released purple mist, and fused himself and the mist into the night. Countless hideous figures emerged from the purple night, resembling angry ghosts trapped in hell. They were the beings devoured by the heavenly fate sect throughout countless years. However, the moment they appeared, the sunlight pierced through them. They charged toward the sun like moths toward a flame, burning and being torn apart until they completely dissipated. The purple-robed All-Seer was forced out of the night with a twisted expression, pale face, and blood pouring from his mouth. While the terror in his heart reached its peak, the heavenly fate finger also failed to approach the sun. The sunlight swept over it, causing popping sounds and flames to spread through the giant finger until it collapsed like the night itself. The yellow-robed All-Seer realized that this was the law of origin, the origin of all laws in the universe. His body suffered severe pain. Blood flowed from his orifices, and he coughed up blood with a miserable smile. Meanwhile, the gray-robed All-Seer's countless strands of slaughter energy charged toward the sun like fierce dragons. But the sunlight caused them to dissipate or tear apart one after another. Knowing that he would die if he did not give everything he had, the gray-robed All-Seer went all out. He formed a seal and pointed at his own body, causing popping sounds as his eyes turned completely red. A crimson blood sword then flew from his forehead. This sword was the root of all his cultivated slaughter energy and the source of slaughter itself. Its appearance filled the world with endless killing intent, and he sent it toward the sun like a bolt of thunder. The yellow-robed All-Seer also unleashed his full power, transforming his head into a thumb, his arms into the index and middle fingers, his legs into the ring finger and pinky, and his body into the palm, forming an unimaginably huge hand containing all his power. The giant palm charged toward the sun and opened its hand, intending to seize it. The purple-robed All-Seer wiped the blood from his mouth and, filled with madness, moved toward the sun. Thousands of different shadows appeared behind him like afterimages, but each shadow was different. As he approached the sun, each shadow fused into his body, causing his aura to become increasingly monstrous. The three All-Seer avatars had been forced into a desperate struggle like trapped beasts. If they could not break through Wang Lin's sundered night, they would have no chance of survival. As the three All-Seer avatars attacked, Wang Lin appeared within the sun, his body emitting brilliant golden light. The sea below revealed the demon spirit land, making everything seem caught between reality and illusion. Wang Lin calmly raised his hand and unleashed sundered night. The sun completely rose above the ocean, and endless sunlight, intense heat, and the law of origin surged across the world, tearing apart the night. The purple-robed All-Seer, accompanied by thousands of shadows, crashed directly into sundered night. The sunlight and heat destroyed his body, turning his arms, legs, and much of his body into blood mist until the avatar collapsed. Countless shadows then emerged and attacked Wang Lin, but they melted away like snow beneath the sun. The yellow-robed All-Seer formed a giant palm and grabbed toward Wang Lin within the sun. However, the yang fire burned through the palm, forcing the avatar to reveal his true body. He appeared to embrace the sun, but within several breaths he was engulfed in flames until only his remains were left. The gray-robed All-Seer launched his blood sword in a desperate attack. The sword pierced through the blazing sun while its monstrous slaughter energy collided with the sunlight and heat. The gray-robed All-Seer sacrificed his right eye, greatly increasing the blood sword's power and allowing it to break through most of the sun until it came within 10 feet of Wang Lin. He then sacrificed his left eye as well, causing the blood sword to become even stronger and pierce completely through the sun. The torn night seemed to condense again as if trying to devour the sun. The blood sword pierced into Wang Lin's chest, but when it reached halfway through, Wang Lin caught it with his right hand. He was forced backward several steps and coughed up blood, then angrily declared that the All-Seer had nearly killed him by making him cultivate the celestial slaughter art and that he would now die. Wang Lin then caused the sun surrounding him to self-destruct. The enormous destructive force spread outward, cracking open the sky, raging through the sea, collapsing the ground, and destroying the remnants of the night. The gray-robed All-Seer, being closest, bore the brunt of the explosion. He could only form a seal and protect himself before being swallowed by the terrifying force. In an instant, the sky, sea, sun and everything else disappeared into chaos. Then the entire scene vanished, revealing the demon spirit land once again, as if the previous battle had been a dream. However, the shocked expressions of everyone present proved that it had truly happened. The gray-robed All-Seer continued dissipating until only a sliver of his will remained, which then returned to the All-Seer's original body. Sundered Night had destroyed 3 people, Master Void and 2 of the All-Seer's avatars, while the gray-robed avatar was reduced to only a fragment of will. Ling Tianao was deeply terrified because he had never imagined that Wang Lin's spell could reach such terrifying power. The All-Seer himself turned pale, coughed blood, and was forced backward. Losing 2 avatars and severely damaging another was an extremely rare blow for him. More importantly, his repeated miscalculations concerning Wang Lin dealt a serious blow to his confidence. His body trembled because of the power of sundered night. The All-Seer recognized that the spell contained the law of origin, the origin of all laws, something a cultivator normally could not master and whose power was unimaginable. He bitterly declared that his greatest mistake had been accepting Wang Lin as his disciple and giving him the opportunity to leave planet Suzaku. Situ Nan, Big Head, Master Hollow Wind, Wang Wei, Hu Wan, and the others were also stunned. Master Hollow Wind had experienced sundered night before, but he was still terrified. Wang Wei and Hu Wan had also been drawn into the illusion and could only watch from a separate space without being able to interfere. Ancient Devil Ta Jia and the Flower Imperial Concubine were even more shocked. The Flower Imperial Concubine looked at Wang Lin with both reminiscence and fear. She remembered her husband's statement that someone named Wang would save him. While the power of Wang Lin's law of origin spell frightened her because she understood this power better than anyone. Celestial Emperor Qing Lin had once nearly died because of the law of origin. Within the sealed realm it was called the law of origin, while outside it was known as the law of absolute beginning. Ta Jia's calm was shaken for the first time. He sensed terrifying potential within Wang Lin's spell, although its current power was still weak. Once it grew, even he would have to retreat from it. He identified it as the power of the Supreme and believed Wang Lin might be the final method Qing Lin had prepared for his awakening. At the Cultivation Alliance headquarters, where the life tokens of important cultivators were stored. One of the 3 highest purple jade tokens shattered when Sundered Knight disappeared. A bell immediately rang throughout the headquarters. Since the war with Allheaven had begun, deaths occurred every day, but only the deaths of extremely important cultivators caused the bell to ring. The bell continued from 1 ring to 2, 3, 4, and 5. Instead of stopping, it continued to 6, 7, and finally 8 rings, causing all cultivators in the headquarters to stop and look toward the life token storage area. When the bell rang for the 9th time, everyone gasped in terror. A middle-aged man sitting inside a secret room raised his head. His eyes filled with fury. His body flashed out like a storm, and he immediately arrived at the life token storage area. Seeing Master Void's shattered token, he released a heaven-shaking roar. The entire Cultivation Alliance seemed to tremble from Wang Lin's roar. Only one person calmly arrived outside the Cultivation Alliance headquarters. He coldly stared ahead, the red light representing the G-realm flashing in his right eye, and then walked inside. At the moment Sundered Knight disappeared and Wang Lin returned to the demon spirit land. An unimaginable power suddenly pierced through the endless chaos within the 18th layer of his 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. 3 souls appeared inside. Master Void's soul from his first Heaven's Blight, the purple-robed All-Seer avatar, and the yellow-robed All-Seer avatar. The 2 All-Seer avatars unexpectedly began to fuse together within the 18th layer. Wang Lin's face was pale, but he continued to stand extremely straight. After killing 3 people and reducing a 4th to only a sliver of will, no one present dared to underestimate him. His expression was hideous as he coldly stared at the All-Seer and his avatars. The blood sword was still embedded in his chest and trapped within his flesh, with blood flowing from the wound and dyeing his clothes red. The All-Seer's 3 great avatars were desperate, but Wang Lin was equally desperate because if he had not fought desperately, he would have died. Although Sundered Knight consumed no origin energy when used at dawn, the enemies Wang Lin had faced were too powerful. Even without consuming origin energy, the enormous expenditure had caused his origin soul to weaken greatly. At this moment, the imposing aura contained in Wang Lin's words was enough to make the All-Seer fall silent. The surroundings became completely silent, but the cries of the Vermilion bird above suddenly grew increasingly intense. As the cries came closer, Wang Lin's Vermilion bird tattoo trembled violently and then flew directly out of his body without his control. The white Vermilion bird raised its proud head and cried toward the sky. Its cry intersected with the approaching cry of the other Vermilion bird, and there was a trace of joy in the cry of Wang Lin's white Vermilion bird. The white Vermilion bird circled around Wang Lin while continuing to cry. At the same time, an even more intense sea of flames suddenly appeared above the demon spirit land and completely replaced the world. As the Vermilion bird cries echoed, an enormous Vermilion bird head emerged from the sea of flames. Its head was so huge that it almost occupied the entire sky, and the flames surrounding its body seemed capable of drying up the entire land. The moment the Vermilion bird's head appeared, an unimaginable pressure descended. Master Hollow Wind and the others were awakened from their shock and gasped, while Situ Nan's eyes widened. Even Ling Tianao's pupils shrank as he raised his head. The All-Seer's expression became even gloomier, and a trace of bitterness appeared in his eyes. The Vermilion bird's sharp gaze swept across the ground before finally falling upon Wang Lin. It released another cry and then charged out of the sea of flames. As its enormous body emerged, the surrounding flames rapidly shrank. In an instant, the Vermilion bird's true spirit completely emerged from the sea of flames. The vast flames became the feathers covering its body, while the remaining flames transformed into its tail. Only after it completely charged out did everyone realize that the seemingly boundless sea of flames had actually been part of the Vermilion bird's body. The sound of people inhaling in shock echoed throughout the area. The giant Vermilion bird immediately charged toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin frowned, but an enlightenment arose within his mind because of the familiar feeling coming from his Vermilion bird tattoo. In an instant, the giant Vermilion bird approached Wang Lin. It originally seemed as if it were going to enter the space between his eyebrows, but at the final moment, it suddenly changed its direction. The Vermilion bird's true spirit transformed into a sea of flames and surged directly into the wound on Wang Lin's chest. At that instant, a sea of flames appeared around Wang Lin. A mysterious power caused his body to float into the air, and monstrous flames erupted from him. His white vermilion bird returned to his body, and a crimson-red suit of armor appeared around him. The armor was extremely beautiful and was engraved with the image of a white vermilion bird, with his white hair flowing around him and the crimson armor covering his body. Wang Lin appeared extremely dazzling. Even the blood sword embedded in his chest gradually shrank. It remained inside Wang Lin's body, but from the outside, not even a trace of it could be seen. Wang Lin's white hair flowed around his crimson armor, and a trace of sharpness appeared in his eyes. Even at this moment, he was still uncertain about exactly what had happened. However, the indescribable power of the flames gave Wang Lin a trace of the cultivation of the Nirvana cleanser stage. It was as if, with a single thought, he could control all flames in the world, just as the ancient thunder dragon possessed the authority to command the world's thunder. Wang Lin now possessed the power to command all the fire in the world. At this moment, hundreds of people appeared behind the vermilion bird. The 6 people at the front all emitted extremely powerful pressure. Their white hair and earth-shattering auras revealed that all 6 were Nirvana Shatterers. Behind these 6 elders were the numerous members of the Vermilion Bird Divine Sect. Every one of them emitted a powerful flame aura, and the moment they appeared, all of their gazes locked onto Wang Lin. When the 6 elders saw Wang Lin, their faces revealed both excitement and shock. Their excitement came from the fact that they had traveled all the way here specifically to protect the person who had awakened. Seeing that Wang Lin was safe allowed them to finally release the tension in their hearts and sigh in relief. However, they were also deeply shocked. Although they had been outside, the moment the Law of Origin appeared, they too had been dragged into the illusion created by Sundered Night. They had personally experienced the terrifying power of that spell. Therefore, even though they were shocked by what had happened, there was also a trace of dread in their expressions. If even the 6 elders were affected in this way, the hundreds of Vermilion Bird Divine Sect members behind them were naturally even more shaken. Nevertheless, they looked at Wang Lin with fanaticism in their eyes. If there were no accidents, they believed that this person would become their next divine emperor. One of the 6 elders, who had 7 vermilion birds embroidered on his clothes, immediately shouted, "Protect the person who awakened." After his command was issued, the 6 elders immediately moved to Wang Lin's side. The remaining Vermilion Bird Divine Sect disciples simultaneously spread out and stared at everyone present with intense killing intent.